I'm proud to say welcome back to episode number 2 of the Get a Grip on Life podcast. What's this show about? Well, I've always been interested in having conversations with people that have really thought through their position in life, or coming up with a new business idea, or experienced entrepreneurs, or social media influencers, or somebody that has a unique perspective on politics or, society. And I sit with them and I unpack their ideas. And I see if they dovetail with mine or where we disagree. Can I learn something from them? And I've wanted to do this for a long time. So I'm really lucky that I'm in a position to be able to put out a podcast. And I hope you guys enjoy it. On today's show, I have Evan Adcock and Mackenzie Ferguson. They're with a company called Verda. They want to be the Uber Eats of cannabis. What, son? Yeah, they're creating a software platform to connect the people who want to purchase cannabis with the people who supply it. And man, they were super excited. Young guys getting after it. I love it, man. I love young entrepreneurs. So they're after it, and we really enjoyed the conversation. They're all on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're all over the place. Check them out. You'll see the links on our website. And I'd like to tell you that this episode of the show is brought to you by Get a Grip Studios. That's right. GetAGripStudios.com, baby. What's going on at Get a Grip Studios? Well, I started a podcast about 2.5 years ago, and it took me a year and a half to really get to understand what putting out a professional, paid, advertised podcast was all about. So I finally got to this point. I built my own studio, and I figured out all the ins and outs, and I'm working on social media, and we're getting revenue from all sorts of different directions now on my lighting show. And I woke up one day and I said, you know what? Other people can do this too. And instead of taking a year and a half to get up and running, you can be up and running in 2 months. Or we have price points for all different areas. So if you just want to come in and record a podcast, or do a virtual podcast, or do an in-studio podcast, it's really, really low cost entry point to get started. But if you're interested in making a dent and really going strong right off the hop, coming out hot, you got to go to GetAGripStudios.com and check it out. But for right now, I give you Evan Adcock and Mackenzie Ferguson of Verda, the Uber Eats of weed. Welcome to the Get a Grip on Life podcast, Mackenzie Ferguson and Evan Adcock.
How's it going?
How you doing?
Good, man. You guys ever done a podcast before?
No.
It's the first one,
First
yeah.
podcast, yeah.
There you go. Cool. You guys look pretty comfortable with it.
Thank you.
We actually have filmed one for ourselves. We haven't released it yet, but we're thinking about doing something for our own company to have just a talk with the founders.
Cool. There's a good segue. Tell me a little bit about Verda and its retail solution built from scratch for the cannabis market. Tell me about that.
Well, I might as well just take you back to the beginning. So we all met. There's 3 founders, myself, Mackenzie, and then there's one other, Stephen. We all met back in high school, grade 12. We started out just wanting to do entrepreneurial ventures together. We knew we were all business minded, but we didn't know what we wanted to do. So then we just decided, we all came together. We just had a brainstorming session, and we just thought, we're in the millennial culture, and we knew
we're in the what culture, sir?
Millennial
culture.
So we knew cannabis was a big thing coming up, and then we heard about Justin Trudeau introducing the new legislation, and we thought, how do we capitalize on this? And the best thing that we thought was, there was this idea floating around that most people may say they have. It's Uber Eats for weed. This Uber for this, Uber for that. We had that idea,
okay.
But we wanted to take more of a different approach on it. So we have the one B2C mobile application. So what we do is we connect users to retailers. So yes, you go on our app and you can look around. Want to continue for a sec?
Yeah. So we picked up the B2C application around then, and we kind of thought of that idea quite a while ago.
Is that running right now?
Not yet. Not yet. Sorry, we're still in development for that.
Okay.
We're actually aiming to exceed
I was going to say
goals,
that would technically make you guys criminals, would it not?
Yeah, no. So we can't operate yet.
Okay.
But we're still in development. So that's what I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
So we're actually planning to exceed our development goals for that.
Okay.
Reach it in a few weeks probably for our minimum viable product.
Okay.
But yeah, and then we kind of are moving.
So are you a software developer, dude?
No. I'm finance, and he's kind of more operations side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Stefan, our other founder, is the software guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so you got started. You're sitting around drinking beers and eating Twinkies and partaking in other currently illegal stuff. And you decide to start the Uber for the cannabis business. Tell me specifically, whose idea was it?
This was Max hadn't joined for around 6 months after we came up with the original idea. It was me and Stephen and one other member named Kaylin. We all sitting together in each other's house, and I forget actually who had the actual idea, but someone just popped up, Uber for eats, Uber for weed, and then we just ran with it.
Is that because you didn't have any weed and you were looking to get some right away?
Likely. Likely. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but that definitely was a
Because
situation.
that's how Uber started. That's how Uber started and Airbnb.
Yeah.
So the guys with Uber were in France or something like that, and they're like, I can't get a cab. It's 5 a.m. I'm wasted. I need a cab. You know what we need to get is there needs to be an app on the phone, man. And now it's like Travis Kalanick and that other dude are billionaires, dude. And then you got Airbnb. They couldn't find a place to stay in some town that was a bit good price, and so they're like, man, I need a place to stay. They had to stay up all night. I think that's the story anyway. And the next thing you know, they have $1 billion company.
That reminds me. I think it was. We were. I think you probably are familiar with Elon Musk. We were waiting. He was
Never heard of him.
Nope. No, most people maybe not, perhaps. No, but he was waiting for his master plan. He was releasing Master Plan Part 2, I believe, 2 years ago. He was supposed to live stream it at night. So we were waiting for it to go live, and he ended up delaying it. So we were just pulling some all-nighter. It was like we were up for 8 hours waiting for it, and then it was late at night, and then that's where the idea came out of. We needed, you know what I mean, and then we just couldn't do it. We were too late, whatever. It's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. The idea came up, and then we just ran from there. So we changed it from just a B2C application, the mobile app, and now we're actually doing an end-to-end cannabis solution like you had mentioned before. We're also building a B2B wholesale interface where producers now go on and connect with retailers. So producers go and list their product, retailers go on and buy inventory. So now it's a B2B wholesale. And then we're also going to be doing a POS system, Verda branded, Verda developed iPad POS. So what this does now is we have an end-to-end solution where inventory is going to be automated throughout the whole process. So if a retailer goes and buys 10 more pounds, your online store is automatically updated, your in-store is automatically updated. It reduces the need for manual entry. It reduces all the human error out of inventory management.
And all this goes back to Justin Trudeau and Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the 2 year.
Okay. So the legislation. So one of the issues that Canada has, I don't know if you guys know this at all, but it's actually easier for a Quebec company to trade with a company in Romania or the United States than it is with a company in Ontario.
Oh,
Okay?
really?
So Canada has more trade barriers between provinces than it does with the United States or than it does. So Canada has, provinces can't sign trade deals with other countries. Canada can, right?
Yeah.
But provinces can make laws against other provinces in the country in terms of trading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's less free trade between Canadian provinces than there is between Ontario and Michigan or Ontario and Belgium.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a lot of people don't know that. So, for example, one of my businesses here is I export waste light bulbs to the United States, but I can't send them to Quebec.
Really?
Yeah, it's against the law to send them to Quebec, but it's not against the law to cross the U.S. border and send them to Michigan.
Wow.
Right? So the rollout, the Canadian legislation to roll it across the country, every province is making their own rules and laws. How's this going to, did I just surprise you with that? Is it going to affect Verda's business model or in any way, like the different provincial rollouts?
I'm not directly sure. I don't believe so, because the wholesale again is going to be managed by each province is going to be doing their own wholesale. So I know Manitoba is going to be having a provincial arm going to be managing the wholesale who sells. Like the LPs are going to be selling to the one.
What's an LP? Just for
licensed producer.
Okay, licensed producer.
So you have Canopy Growth, Aurora, all those big companies, and then they sell to the one provincial arm, the wholesaler, and then they distribute to the other private retailers. So even though it's private on private, there's still that one government branch in the middle who distributes it. So then we'd have to be working with the actual governments on the B2B end just to facilitate that process. So then we'd actually be in each individual province working. So it wouldn't be just a federal platform. It'd be we're working individually within the provinces.
So you're going to customize it for each individual province's rules and laws.
Likely, yes.
So you're going to have like 11. How many provinces are there?
8.
10 provinces,
No, wow.
3
Wow.
territories.
Yes.
Right?
You're right.
Holy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
They might
great.
want to get that.
That's a great.
So you're not in charge. What are you in charge of?
I'm in charge of all the operations, actually.
Not
Right.
geography, though.
Yeah, failed
my
that course
fault.
in grade 11. So
But,
I mean, you're gonna have to make your software. You're gonna have to make it customizable. What about people that want to interact across provinces? Yeah, I guess these are issues. These are real software issues.
Yeah.
So a big thing is we really want to be prepared for globalization, right? We're not building an app. We're building a company, a business, a software company, right? So we want to be prepared as countries are starting to follow Canada. As countries are starting to follow Canada, it's really important for us to be ready to do both medical and recreational in the space, right? So we want to prepare our B2B system to be able to launch with countries in like South America, which is huge right now, the U.S.
Europe is huge too.
Europe is another huge one, yeah. So that's our big thing. Cross provinces, I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue.
So, like, yeah, a lot of you don't care about provincial issues. It's rather a global strategy there.
Yeah.
Also on that point, because each of these companies are signing, each province signs its own kilogram deal. Like Manitoba gets, I think they order like 50,000 kilograms, and then BC orders this many kilograms. So again, each province is regulating their own supplies, and we just be working with each province. And then so the cross province trade isn't really our duty, because like the provincial, the LP has already done the work getting the cannabis into the province.
I see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have as a software company, all you do is provide people with logons, I assume, right? So that means it's very easy to do a global strategy with that.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing better than
scalable,
software for global strategy. You have to ship anything, right?
Exactly.
That's why Microsoft got rich in Facebook. It's like, what do you do? I don't ship anything. I just ship a disc. It used to be I ship a disc.
Yeah.
Right? Like I got a warehouse full of light bulbs. You could fit all of Microsoft stock in 1993 in my warehouse, probably little discs, right?
Yeah,
little packages and stuff. I mean, now it's all the log on and subscriber based. Is your model subscription based?
No. So the way our pricing is going to work for the B2C mobile application. So if you're a user, you want to go on, you want to look at the product, we just charge you a delivery fee. That's it. So you go on, the product is, obviously you're charged by the actual licensed retailer. So we partner with a store who's selling it in the physical brick. They choose the prices. So if it's $10 a gram, 12, 9, whatever, they choose it. And then the customer orders it, and we charge a delivery fee. And that delivery fee is going to be variable based on the number of orders that we're receiving. So it's going to be different with the different regions, because we get charged different prices for different regions based on order volume and demand there.
Sure. What about regulations in terms of age of user and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, we're big on that.
Yeah, it's very strict. So we're definitely we're integrating our 2 points age verification check. So we're going to be, I believe we're scanning. Yep. We're scanning the IDs. We just are putting an API in for that. And we're also working to get our drivers to be checking the IDs and verifying it inside of our app as well. So there's going to be a visual check by the driver as well as a automated check by the API.
So the driver is like an Uber driver or a delivery driver or whatever. Yep. Interesting. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the stigma. What is you said impacts on stigma, it says here, but I mean, what is a stigma? Can I make a point actually before you do that? So everybody that I know that wants to smoke dope already has the dope they didn't want to smoke or they want to use. Okay. Right? So are people projecting massive increases in the use of recreational marijuana?
Massive.
Yeah, I think it was a 17-point increase.
Deloitte
17 times or 17%?
17 percentage points increase.
That's not a lot.
So
like,
not a 17% increase. So we're not multiplying by like 1.17. We're adding 17% of the population, right?
So 17 times. If there's 100 people smoking marijuana or using marijuana recreational now, 17 times would be 1,700 people more. We would go from 100 to 1,700. 70% would be 117. So you'd go from 100 to 117.
Yeah.
So is it 17 times 17% or 70% of the population?
Deloitte estimated right now that there's 22% of people who are currently smoking out of the entire Canadian population, and they're adding 17. So they're saying, I think it's like maybe a year after legalization, that 39% of the Canadian population will be using cannabis.
39%. No, okay, but for recreational.
The difference, I don't think they made the.
I think there's a big difference between
there
people are using it pharmacologically. I don't know if that's right, pharmacologically. I don't know. The other day I said majestical. So I'm just watching my words here. Majestical.
Close enough.
No, but so there's it's different. If you CBD, if CBD oil is included in that, I don't think it counts. No. Because I don't think CBD oil gets you stoned, does it?
Yeah, I don't think that was included in the study, because I think it's already legal, right, to be using.
And
CBD
then the medical
oils.
use. I mean, you see those kids with epilepsy. That blows your mind, dude. When you see that on the like, that's a mind blowing thing to see.
Yeah,
it's really insane, because cannabis, just studies keep rolling out now, and as they're being like allowed,
sure,
it keeps showing that it helps different things, right, from epilepsy to I can't think of another
Crohn's
example.
disease,
dietary issues,
cancer,
anxiety.
MS.
Anxiety's a big one,
Yeah,
man.
mental
depression,
health,
like,
it's insane.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not endorsing anybody's use. I'm sure you guys aren't either. I mean, read the
we don't
label,
endorse
whatever.
it,
Yeah. But I mean, there's definitely even with psychedelic drugs, you're hearing stuff coming out that it helps people as well.
Yeah.
So
Microdosing of mushrooms.
I think that's big in Silicon
people
Valley.
dying and stuff like that, and they're saying, well, take this before you die, and you'll be more comfortable with your. Like, there was a study done where they I don't know if it's psilocybin or if it's what, I don't know all the terms. I mean, it's majestical anyway. But I mean, people are scared to die. They have stage 4 cancer, and they do a psilocybin trip or some sort of stage of these things, and after they come to be at peace with it. I mean, that's powerful stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And if people who are running around with anxiety and our world is complicated, man. And it's not like it was even 50, 60 years ago. People are disconnected from their communities. That people are living in a very complicated world. I think it's wrong for people to be so adamant against cannabis when there's obviously people are saying for years that this helps me.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that we destigmatize if we're going to legalize it, that we destigmatize it as well. But there is an argument that it makes people stupid, dude. I mean, there is real, those are true arguments too. I mean, some people use it to tune in, some people use it to tune out.
Yeah. No, but it's the same way with a lot of other substances as well, right?
But that doesn't make it a good thing to legalize it then.
Yeah, but I guess we can always walk back to what you were saying before, right? Anybody that's smoking dope already has it.
Yes.
Right. So we can have it in a legal market where we're being taxed, where we're paying tax dollars to try to fight it, or we could recreationalize it and have it contribute to the economy. Yeah. Right. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons for it.
Yeah, but I think there's some issues with. So there is a lot of positives. I mean, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't get to say. Like, hey, that's wrong or right. If you've studied it and I know that there's real people that I love and care about that have said, hey, it helps me. Who am I to say if it's right or wrong? But there is issues with people under the age of a certain age
25.
using it. It's 25.
If you're because your brain does not stop developing until you're 25.
So you can't use marijuana while your brain is developing?
They don't recommend it because apparently, yes, if you're a heavy cannabis user under 25, then if you're it makes sense. If you're high every day, and your brain develops, when you sleep or whatever, like your brain's not going to be developing regularly like it would be if it wasn't had this THC and it's in its mouth every single day, right? So they say if you're under 25 and you're smoking it every day, there could be lasting lifelong, leading to schizophrenia, leading to other things. It's not it's a study, it's not proven, but I can see why could be scary.
The destigmatization process involves an honest conversation, dude.
Yeah, it really does. And trying to find the objective truth behind it, right? Not the subjective, what are people looking at, right?
Yeah, legalization, man!
Exactly.
Whoa, hang on. Okay, I agree with you, but how do we handle it? There's a difference between those things.
Yeah, and we're definitely finding that you kind of did the yo man, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're finding that a lot of the users are actually towards young professionals.
Yeah.
We're really moving away from the classic stoner, I'm doing air quotes here, the stoner vibe. And we're really moving towards the young professional, the professional. I'm using young kind of vague.
What's young? What's young?
I guess it's between 19, the bottom rate, and then probably 34.
Yeah.
I think is a good place to put it. We're seeing a huge rise in that use, and as well as baby boomers as well.
Oh, massive. I have the stats on that. So millennials, what he said, 19 to 34, they own the majority of the market. It's something like 50% or someone like that. But the
illegal market right now.
Yes,
currently illegal.
Of the illegal market. Now, the year-over-year increase of millennials is very small, 2%, 3%. Baby boomers, they own small 4 or 5%, but the year-over-year increase is 50%. So they are every single year.
Hey man, they want to have fun too, brother.
Exactly.
They know, and they're seeing all the benefits to it. Arthritis, the pain when they're growing older, eases the pain. Why not try it?
You know what I mean? That's another one. Arthritis is a big one too, dude.
Agreement was asking me for it.
Yeah, that's another one I've just anecdotally seen people talking about how it helps them with arthritis. Yeah, so the baby boomers, I'm in the middle between those two things. So I'm a Gen Xer, so I hate both of you guys. But yeah, back to the, so there's a stigma. They're trying to destigmatize it. We're trying to have honest conversations. 25 is old, man. And I'll tell you, I'm a father of 4. So I got a daughter in high school. and there's marijuana all over Hearst
Yep.
High School.
Oh,
Not just
yeah.
not just marijuana either, dude.
Oh,
Like there's,
yeah.
and this is not in
problem.
Toronto. This is way outside of Toronto too, and so these kids are using it. Some of them are using it every single day.
Oh yeah, we saw it in
Yeah.
high school. It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
It's an issue, dude.
Yeah, it's
It
a
is.
big problem, and I think it kind of comes to the culture as well, right? The culture that these high school students are living in, and drugs are promoted constantly, right? In like rap and in social media,
totally.
that sort of thing, right? So I think it's kind of the adverse effects of that, right? I guess. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
no, there's definitely a okay. So there was a countercultural weed using movement, and now there's an offsetting cultural weed using movement without the
Yeah.
counterculture disappearing, right? So there's still that
Yeah.
element of like the music, the party, so like you could compare it to one that we went through and was gone, is sort of the free love movement of the 1960s with the psychedelic drugs and all that sort of stuff. So our society moved through that. We ended it. We moved on, and right now there's like a significant acceptance of young people using recreational drugs, young people being under the age of 18, say. And there's a lot of information coming out saying, hey, this is not healthy for these kids.
Yeah.
What's the legalization age going to be? Is it going to be 19?
19. Except for was it either Quebec or Alberta? They set it to 18.
Yeah.
And I think it was Quebec because they set it in line with their alcohol, because alcohol also in Quebec is 18, but
Sure.
across the province it's like there's one or two exceptions, but 19's across the board. Other than that,
Yeah, and we talked about this briefly, actually. The fact that it's 18, it's also Canada's also testing the waters, right? They're trying about like a bunch of different strategies across the board, different provinces. So it's interesting to see how it'll turn out, right?
Yeah.
Because alcohol in Quebec seems to be doing fine. Like it hasn't been changed yet. So it's interesting to see what will come of it, right?
There's a different way to look at that too, eh? It's we're running 10 different experiments
Yeah, exactly.
on people.
Yeah, I guess you could frame it like that.
I mean, there's ways to
But-
look at it like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, let's run an experiment. Like people say, oh, well, let's, so, I mean, it's interesting to see. And I'm kind of agnostic as to how the best way to do it is. But I mean, it's definitely, there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had that I think is being avoided by a lot of people. I don't know how to put it the right way. Like, it seems like I don't know how to put it. It seems like there isn't the debate surrounds whether or not it's going to be in a retail store or not, as opposed to I think the stigmatization and the acceptance of it needs to be more thoroughly talked about. Like we like how we just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do that, but that doesn't have anything to do with Verda's business model. I'm just thinking out loud here. So you're saying Canada's a testing ground. So you guys are going to benefit from this, right? So we're first movers.
Yep.
There's a huge first mover advantage in software.
Massive.
Right?
Massive.
Right? So how many, do you guys have customers yet?
So right now we can't really, for the user side, we've launched our website, as you can see.
Yeah. Put it up there. Yeah.
We launched it, I believe, July 19th. We're accepting signups now for the users and retailers and wholesalers, pre-signups. So you sign up, you get on the email list, and we'll send you updates on the launch, any deals, any merch promotions we're doing, so to keep you involved.
Sure.
But technically, we can't launch until obviously October 17th. But we have got the interest.
But you guys have everything in place.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be ready for the October 17th.
Including
launch.
delivery and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Pricing, delivery,
Yep,
everything.
same-day
Wow, that's
delivery.
exciting, man.
Yep. And we're also accepting, retail applications. So we're already in the works with the partnerships. We're already, getting ready. So we're ready to go. And social medias are launched. So we have a not hard marketing campaign, because you got to be, that's one thing to talk about is the marketing laws. The Canadian government says you cannot be promoting cannabis in a youthful or exciting lifestyle at all, or you're gonna get like a $5 million fine. So it's bankruptcy immediately. Right? You cannot be promoting this to kids at all. And it's a fine line, because like I know O. Henry released a bar, the 425 bar, the bar that hit, you eat it after 5 minutes after 420. Well, is that I think that does right away, right?
That's a timestamp on it,
and it says on the bar. To be used after the munchies kick in after 5 minutes after 420. I'm like, okay, well, kids go and buy that bar. What are they going to think when that's kind of promoting the kids? But like, where's the line? So they said they're going to be.
So you're saying they're promoting it as the food of choice after smoking marijuana?
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
It's an interesting campaign, though. I
mean,
think it'll do
it's
pretty well.
It's a good campaign. It's a funny idea, but like,
I think they should be fined $5 million for that.
Yeah, right.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's entirely in violation of
the government
of the policy. I mean, I don't eat friggin' O. Henry bars.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. I'm
Yeah,
41 years old. I'm not going to go buy a 425 O. Henry. I'm still at work, man.
Yeah.
That's for after school snack for kids, buddy. Yeah, I think they should. I think that is crossing the line. That's interesting. I interviewed a girl named Sarah Hanlon on my show who's Matt, is she Leafly? Is that who she's the ambassador for?
She's the ambassador for Leafly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what she was saying is that the legalization has produced more laws about marijuana than ever.
Yep.
It's way more
yeah.
easy to become, I don't know if a criminal, but become in violation of the regulations than ever with marijuana now.
Yeah.
Oh, big.
So it's a new, brave new world for you guys, eh? Do you guys have consultants helping you with that?
Yeah, we definitely do. We have we have a legal team who we go for on advice and when we can and cannot say. We don't obviously for most issues we don't because it costs us money. But like if we're going to be releasing a marketing campaign, we're going to get it advised by a legal team, and we are working with the Lawyer Consulting Club coming up in September. They're going to be doing some market research for us and getting doing legal landscape work for us there too. So we definitely are watching out for what we do legally.
All right, so I'm in the same club with Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. You know what it is?
No.
The University Dropout Club.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a university dropout, so it kind of gives us all a badge of honor. Okay, it's like, did you drop out of university? Okay, good, then you can be an entrepreneur.
honestly.
Yeah, the
true.
number one badge of honor. No, like if you're a young entrepreneur, it's like almost like dropping out of university or having like a startup that failed. It's kind of one of those things that back in the old days, that's what a lot of us did. Is like I'm not wasting my money giving them my money to these idiots who aren't teaching me anything about anything really. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how I
it's no.
felt, dude. I rolled around into them. I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? School versus experience.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to post-secondary education?
So like we definitely have a lot to talk about this. We're still technically. Well, I'm not technically in school anymore. So I was in WLU BBA, so Wilfrid Laurier, down in Waterloo. I was there for a year and a half, 2 years. I was in my second year, and this was starting to pick up. We were starting development. We started talking to clients, and it was at the point where I value grades. I did really well in school, and I didn't want to like.
Yeah, you looked a little geeky to me. I'm just joking, man. I'm joking.
No, so I I value my grades, and I was like, hey, I can either half-ass school and half-ass Verda and have a half-ass two products if I stay in school.
Sure.
Or I can, drop out or take a leave of absence.
Sure.
And, return if this doesn't
get after it. Sure.
And that's what I did. I left immediately in January. I said, I'm not going to half-ass this. I'm going to regret it if I don't try it because now is the time. And right now we're on pace to do well for this October. And then if I don't return, I don't return. And I'm still heavy on experience. Like I've learned more in these past 6 to 7 months that I did in those year schools. I've written multiple business models now. I've done client relations. I've done learned how to be a leader. I've learned so much stuff, and I've read like 6 books now. It's just continue to just reading. Learning is very key to be doing well in entrepreneurship. But through a school and getting that piece of paper, if you can do it without it, you don't need it.
Dude, I'll tell you this. Okay, so I have a U.S. patent.
Yep.
Okay, and I have no degree. Okay. And the U.S. patent, I've been meaning to frame it for 6 years. You know why? Because I don't really give a shit about the piece of paper, actually, that someone else is telling me I'm smart or I'm an inventor, actually. I care about the results of the business.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm passionate about. Whatever I'm after, whatever I'm doing, it's like, I patented this thing and I got tricked into a bunch of lawyers saying everyone's going to steal your idea and all this sort of stuff. And nobody stole my idea, but I spent a lot of money on a patent lawyer to get the stupid trophy. To get this stupid trophy, and in the meantime, I sold a ton of my patent before that, and you know what I mean? I sold it and sold it and sold it and sold it. It's like, oh no, you need to protect yourself. Other people are going to steal your idea. You know what? All the people, sure, maybe people do steal ideas and patenting is important, but dude, it was like a grind out just so I can have a piece of paper. And I feel the same way about university. It's like, Wilfrid Laurier University gets to dictate who's going to be successful and who isn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way, dude. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. There is like a lot to say about experience. Like I don't want to discredit school at all because school really does.
I think largely post-secondary education, if it's not engineering, mathematics, or science, is a complete waste of time.
Okay.
I think it's a complete waste of time.
I feel like it aims you in the right direction. I feel like that's
I think it aims you in the wrong direction.
Really?
Yes. And I think it puts you into debt if your parents aren't paying for it. It puts you into debt. It's a lie. I think it puts you into debt, and it wastes your time with. I'm not talking about science. engineering, mathematics.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
are the hard sciences, things like that. That's great. Go get an engineering degree. That will help you.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you're studying, philosophy, business is okay. I mean, business is kind of It's like, tell me what you read in books at U of T, buddy.
Yeah.
In the business school, or you got an MBA. Like everybody's got an MBA now, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, if you had an MBA when I started out 20 years ago, you could have got a good job.
Yeah.
Now everyone's got an MBA. So what?
Yeah, so I guess it's just changing the differentiator, right? Now everybody's in school, right? So everybody's getting an MBA. Everybody's trying to go for that higher level of education to get the one up. But now we're all here saying, wait, why don't we just go for experience?
Yeah, why don't you just go
right?
start
Why
a
don't we
business?
just go
Dude.
throw ourselves into it,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So,
you know why? That's where the
what I
guts is. That's where you learn.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, put your ass on the line, man. Start a business. Go
Exactly,
borrow
yeah.
some money from somebody and see if you can pay it back.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, seriously, man. That's the learning process, man. This stuff that you go to some teacher who's never started a business in his life and he's going to tell you about some stupid study he did on some company 25 years ago. Guess what? That book, Good to Great. You never read that book, Good to Great, by the guy there at Built to Last and Good to Great? I think all those companies are gone now that were in that book. I don't know if I shouldn't say that. I mean, Ford Motor Company is still here after the crisis of 2008. Sony's, listen, the whole point is that being an entrepreneur is not about, you can't be taught. Here's the thing. Are you guys married? No. No way.
No.
You don't have kids?
No.
And now you're entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
3 things you're never going to be ready for. Being a dad, being married, and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
There's nobody can teach you how to do those
honestly,
things,
Absolutely
dude.
not.
It's really just about throwing yourself into it.
Yeah, you become a
Just-
dad, and then you have this baby in your hand, and then you look, hey, Dad, how did you do it? Son, you gotta be really careful. Get lots of sleep, and save your money, and
Yeah.
it's like you start a business, and you're like, holy shit, I have this payroll coming up. What do I do?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
someone's there and say, okay, here's what you're gonna do. You manage this, and blah, blah, blah. Right? So it's like you can only be mentored. You can't be taught.
No, there's no secret.
Yeah.
There's no secret formula. There's no like you do this, you're a good entrepreneur. It's like it's all adapting to the situation.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
get in. You got to get into it, and you got to get a little bit lucky. You got to work hard. You got to be innovative. You got to
All that.
this stuff. You got to put a package together, man. And Wilfrid Laurier University is never going to teach anybody that.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
It's not possible because nobody there. If they could, maybe they have the odd guest speaker who comes in, but the people that are teaching them that stuff there are not entrepreneurs, dude. That's the first part.
Yeah.
Second of all, you got to get out and do it. So.
Oh yeah, big time.
Woo. So no post-secondary for you?
I'm still enrolled, I think. Yeah, no, I'm still enrolled. I'm finishing up one course. But yeah, no, similar to what Evan was saying, like, because when you're deciding whether to half-ass both or to like dive into one really deep, what I ended up doing is because I had to, if I were to drop out or like postpone it like Evan did, I would have like thrown out like a lot of money worth of courses.
Sure.
So I stayed in my important courses and then I continued that and just kind of, I think what Gary Vee says is the half-ass dropout, where you put all your time into what you want to do, but you still get the grades to pass,
Sure.
So that's what I did for the rest of my semester. I'm finishing up one course now in the summer, and then, it's out of school for me, so.
Yeah, it's weird. I think, like I said, if it's not STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, get the hell out of there. Yeah, and a lot of people also, I was talking to, I had a financial advisor guy on my show yesterday, and we are talking about, investing in wills and this kind of stuff, right? Like having a will, having a financial plan, all this kind of stuff, saving money, right? Yep. And it's like, when everyone says, well, you got to go to post-secondary, you got to get your degree, okay. No one sits down their kids, or no university looks at a kid and goes, here's the payback, the likely return on investment you're going to receive from a degree in English Lit.
Yeah.
Right? Here's
Yeah,
the
I'd agree with
ROI,
that,
the
yeah.
prospective ROI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't get discussed, right? Like, so before people go into post-secondary education, you probably want to say, okay, exactly how is there going to be a return on investment for this $100,000 you're going to spend? What's going to be the return?
And I think that's like huge because in high school, like I'm talking to a few, like I know I have a few friends back in grade 12 now. I'm like, yo, what are you going to go into? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to go into arts for now and figure it out. I'm like, why are you going into a program, random arts, and you're going to figure it out later? Like you should know what you want to do with the degree before you hop into it, or
I got a better idea.
Take some time.
take some time, yeah.
Go work
Exactly.
go become an apprentice at Lighting Solutions, and you get paid to
Yeah.
become an electrician. You'll get
the trades
paid.
are so big, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. And then you know what? The number one way for dudes to become entrepreneurs is through a trade. So most
I can
men,
see that.
most men that are
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, like the vast majority are like plumbers that start their own plumbing company, electricians that start their own their electrical contracting company, right? It's not software geniuses that like Uber. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like bricklayers and plumbers. That's how men become entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
School. Anything else? School versus experience. Experience wins every time. Son.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I definitely agree. But last point on that, I do think school puts you in a position to get experience with the restrictions you set. So like the STEM kind of fields, they do put you in a place to get the experience.
STEM, yes.
And then a few others, I feel like it puts you, like the English lit, it does show that you're, and it's weird because I don't want to argue this fully, but.
So I studied
think
English
that-
lit,
Okay.
classical mythology.
Okay.
Okay. So has it helped me? Absolutely. Like in
Yeah.
terms of being able to, I wrote a lot of essays.
Yeah.
Very good writer, and I can read fast and I can understand things. Yes, but that's not what most people are studying English lit for. Most of them are in English lit because they can't get into engineering.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that's the wrong reason.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
agree with
Like
that.
they're
Because
just
it
there.
can be a signal, though, right? Graduating, getting the piece of paper is a signal that you're a hard worker, and that's why people
Yes,
do it.
I
right?
agree.
And that's the reason. That's my point.
But
on
in comparison to experience, we're not saying that getting a degree is bad. We're saying that you're much better off with. I think
Okay,
it's a waste
yeah.
of time. I'm sorry. You can read the books without paying the money.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
exactly.
If you want to. And the other thing is that beating up on post-secondary education. But you guys are pretty young. So you guys are 20?
20,
20,
and
yeah.
19.
I'm turning 20 in
19.
a couple months. Yeah.
19, yeah. So you can always go back to, and then maybe one day they'll give you an honorary degree anyway.
Yeah,
If you're
show
good.
show them.
Yeah, if you're really good, eh? On your point, that's what I wanted to say. The one thing is that you guys probably met at university.
Well, we met in high school.
Didn't actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
met
met
in
in
high
high
school.
school. Yeah.
So the one thing it does give you is like if you go to
Connections are huge.
I went to Queens,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
you meet other people that got into Queens, which
Yeah.
is
No.
which is something of value too,
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
Connections and stuff like that you make. So sorry, Queens and Wilfrid Laurier and all the
Yeah.
other ones we love you. The motivation and the mindset, guys.
Oh,
Let's
that's
say
huge.
those are
Good
two
one.
different things, man.
It's huge.
Motivation
Yeah.
is one thing, and mindset's another thing.
Yeah.
So what's the motivation for? Let's go with Mackenzie first. What was the motivation, man?
Motivation for what, I guess, or for just
What
driving forward
what
on
motivates
Verda?
you to what? Yeah, what? So like I always say, light bulbs. Replace it with whatever else you want.
Okay.
Right. For me, it's not about light bulbs. There's a larger entrepreneurial thing that I like.
Yeah.
I like starting things that are new. I enjoy
Exactly.
that. What is your motivation?
So, I think it's interesting because a lot of people say money is a big motivator, and I think that's completely wrong. You really the only way you're getting up out of bed at 1 a.m. to do that call that you need to do with China or whatever
Sure.
is if you really fucking love it,
Yeah.
right? So you have to love what you're doing,
Sure.
or else you really can't do anything. And I love
Are you old
tackling
enough to
hard
swear?
problems. I don't think so. I need to go apply at the Ontario or something. There's a
You need a
card I need to
license.
get. Like, oh, sorry, guys.
No, you're right, man. It's
But yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So
Really, yeah, it drives home the point, though. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna comment and see if you guys agree with me.
I'm going to
Okay.
jump in here.
Sure.
So my father's a 40-year veteran of the police force, and he used to tell me that being a police officer was the only job you'd wake up in the middle of your night's sleep and wish you were at work.
Yeah, he can think that.
yeah.
I would never do
I-
that, but I love the
yeah.
passion.
Yeah, no.
I
that's
took that
Exactly.
idea though, and I was like, "What will get me out of bed?" And it was making content, and it was like
Yeah.
I'm also a DJ, so it was like practicing DJing. These passions that make you get out of bed. We live in such a beautiful time where you can make those your career.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting.
yeah.
Completely
You know
different
what,
idea.
you know what's interesting about that? And your dad said you never listened to him, eh? So your motivations, what are they?
My motivations, like this kind of similar to what Max's is. Like again, like my grandma would always tell me, you love what you do, you're never gonna work a day in your life, right? She worked as a nurse, and she said she loved it the whole time, right? And we work, like me and Max together, we work 18 hours a day, all day, every day, past 6 months. It's been nonstop, and you cannot do that unless you love what you're doing. I don't care how much the money motivates you. If you don't love what you're doing, like you're gonna pass out. You're gonna like say, nah, screw it, I'm sleeping in this day, whatever. It's just a bit of money, but like we love what we're doing.
It's also not sustainable forever.
And no,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not. It's not.
And
Right,
you
right
burn
now.
out. You burn out.
So there's a couple things. You guys ever heard of his name's gonna mistake me. Give me a second. He's Austrian. He's the first business management consultant ever. His name is, it might come to me in a second. I can't remember his name. Anyway, everyone cites this guy. He wrote a ton of books about management consulting. He was a management consultant in the 50s and the 60s, before there were management consultants. I think he coined the word management consultant. Anyway, he says that profit is a necessity.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like the goal. If your goal is profit, then you're probably not an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because you're probably more of a business manager type. If you just want to go out and make money, become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know, because you can make a lot of money if you're good at it. If you come up with a good business plan and you're going to work hard, you can make a lot of money doing other things where you don't have to take risks. You don't have to borrow money.
Yeah.
You don't have to work like an animal for 18 hours a day. You don't have to do these things. You can make money in simpler ways. Doing a good job for a big corporation, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So money's it's always the necessity. Right? So you can be entrepreneurs and never make money. Fail at it, right? So it's like a necessity. His name is, it just came in and out of my head. Damn, I'm getting too old. So the motivation. So your motivation is what?
My motivation is to I want to leave this world knowing I left something. Like my name is I left it on something.
I want to leave this world being a purveyor of cannabis.
Well, I am a cannabis advocate. I use it as a tool. I do have a medical card. I have my own medical reasons for using it, and I used it throughout university. Right, I had one of the highest GPAs in my class, and but I was always like, "You're a stoner. How are you doing that?" I was like, Evan, what are you doing? How do you smoke and still do well? I'm like, I use it as a tool. Right, I
think that's crap. I think you just have a higher IQ than everyone else.
No, right?
Come on, dude.
No, I use it as a reward system.
No, I agree that you may use it as a reward system or whatever. But the reason why your grades are high is because you have a high IQ. Like there's also a genetic factor.
I think it's the drive.
I think it's the work.
Right.
I worked.
Okay, so if you're 7 feet tall and you make the NBA, can you say the same thing? I mean, a lot of people forget that a lot of people could try as hard as they want, use cannabis as a tool, and not get the grades you get, dude. You're a smart guy. I can see it. I know when I see someone who has a high IQ. You have a high IQ. Accept it. It was a God's gift to you, okay? And you get good grades in school and you do very well because you have a high IQ and you work hard, but the high IQ comes first, I think. So there you go. Take that.
There definitely is a factor.
Yeah.
That could be a factor, but I would be working when other people would be up, out partying, or I'd be. But once I crossed off my today's to do list, I would still go out. I love the party, right? I forget. There was this one thing my buddy Adam told me. It was party. It was study more than you sleep. Or study more than you sleep more than you study, and party. Oh, I messed it up. I forget what it was.
Forget that whole IQ thing.
That's out the window.
There's this great quote, and I forget it if I come up with it.
I tried to tell you.
He's not.
I forgot it. Whatever.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I have 4 phases to a business. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So and it's kind of rough because I've started. This is the 4th business I've started.
Okay.
5th actually. 1 failed, 3 succeeded. This is the 5th one.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's 4 phases, and I don't know if this makes any sense, but the first phase is the get it going stage, and that's where you guys are in, where you work your butt off, you do all sorts of stuff, you're trying to get everything set up, you're being spun in a million directions, and you're just going crazy, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's like this whirlwind, right? And then all of a sudden, one day comes about, and you realize, oh, you know what? I didn't work at all on the weekend, and I'm gonna roll in at 9 instead of 6. And then I'm going to go out for lunch and maybe I'm going to do yoga and everything still seems to work. And that's the keep it going phase where you're hiring people, you're putting people into place, you have an accountant and maybe you hire a CFO or something like that and things start to become a little easier. And then the next one is what's the plan? How do we grow this thing bigger? And the next one is what am I going to do next? Right? So those are the 4 stages. You guys are in the get it going stage and that's the funnest one. But it can't go on forever, man. You got to get to keep it going because you're going to burn out.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that.
So the motivation, I'm still not clear on these motivations yet. What is it? Do you just want to be successful? How about that?
Well, I guess I want to prove again something. I want to build something myself.
Yes.
I want to build it from nothing to hey, I sold it for this much. I built that from nothing.
Yeah, sure.
It's it's a pride, not pride kind of thing.
I believe that totally. Yeah,
right?
No, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
It's not hubris.
Yeah.
Pride is a wrong word for things because pride has a negative meaning and a positive meaning, and people don't ever know what you're talking about. See, hubris is the bad kind of pride. It's the pride that comes before destruction. right? It's
Okay,
cockiness,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But that's not what you guys are. You guys are just working hard, and you want to build something that other people can admire, and you can admire yourself honestly, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't even want to say like I don't even know if Verda is like my end all, like like Elon Musk's Tesla or SpaceX. I don't know if I'm gonna stay with it forever, but like I just want to keep on building. I want to, if we ever do sell it, I want to just take the money and throw it into something else. Next passion project. Let's keep going. Let's keep building. Let's keep creating things.
Elon Musk, like he cashed out like I think 180 million from PayPal, and then he reinvested 171 million into Tesla and 9 million into SpaceX or whatever. So I might get the numbers wrong there, but he invested every single penny of his money and then had to borrow money for rent.
Yeah, he was.
Like that's so insane. Like cashing out 180 million and putting it all back in.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of that's bullshit. Those stories.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you. I've noticed. I've interviewed a lot of people on podcasts. Okay. And everybody has some in America, it's like you need a rags to riches story or nobody accepts you. I don't know what it is, especially in Silicon Valley. You have to say something like, I was living in my car, man. And then I was out there. And then, I was talking to this one guy. He's like, yeah, man, I slept in my car and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of started talking to him about it. It was one of the lighting podcasts I had to throw out. And I was talking to him for a bit. And then it turned out that his mom really wanted him to get his master's degree. And he could have gone home anytime. And the reason why he slept in his car is because the only hotel in the town he was in was full. But they're presenting it in this rags to riches manner, right? Yeah. So I don't believe that he borrowed money. I think he probably was, probably like had to borrow money because he was waiting for something else and his bank account was closed or whatever and something happened. So don't always buy all that bullshit, dude. A lot of that's a lot of that sort of stuff is...
it's the message though, right?
It's about the message. I agree.
Whether it happened or not, right? So
I agree. But I find when you start to dig into those stories, Americans love those stories. Yeah. Exactly, I don't know what it is. It's like the everyone's in the Horatio Alger American Dream thing. Yeah. You got to lay it out. You got to be humble and tell everyone that you're poor so no one thinks you're some European aristocrat. It's like, okay, dude, he slept in your car. All right, that's bullshit, right? Oh, yeah, you know what? My mom really wanted me to go to college, and they, it's like, dude, why do you have to tell them? It's important in America, though. Mindset.
This is massive, I would say. I think I can speak for both of us when we say that I'm heavy into Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, sure.
So is Max. We both read his book, Crushing It, and like it's all about mindset, right? Like you got to be able to eat shit, and like this is quoting him. You got to be able to eat shit for 10 years, put your head down and grind.
Sure. And
a lot of people at our age, millennials, they don't understand that. Like they're partying. Like I watch my Snapchat now. They're partying every day. I haven't drank alcohol in 6 months. I haven't I want to party. I like partying, but I'm okay to like wait 5 years before I can go out to those clubs again. Right? I want to eat shit, grind, put my head down, and then wake up and say, okay, now I can have fun, and I also have my business and my money is flowing, and I'm gonna have a better lifestyle than you guys. So like the quote that I like to live by is, work like others won't, so you can live like others can't. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So that's a big motivator for me. That's the mindset.
Yeah. Evan really summed it up. He kind of stole the easy points. We're both really into Gary V. Like we both read his Crushing It book, and like wow, it changes your mindset to like it's okay to fail even, right?
Sure.
It's go head first.
Failing, like 99 times out of 100, you're gonna fail.
Yeah,
exactly.
At least a success.
Yeah, it just depends on how you break it down. Yeah. Like for example, you're gonna make tons of mistakes, but that's what makes up experience.
Yeah, you'll see. You learn.
That's what makes up experience.
That's the experience portion.
The experience is the failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tell you this. Another example of that is on the mindset sort of thing. So mindset you can describe. Let's say you take Michael Jordan, and what was his coach's name? The names.
I'm not too sure.
The old guy, the Zen master. Come on. What's the coach's name for the Bulls back then, Matt? Come on, what's his name? Shoot, I'm not so good with the names right now. He's going to look it up. Anyway, go to
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson, okay? Go to the Zen master, sit Michael Jordan and the Zen master down and say, hey, man, how did you guys win 6 championships? Because we were the best. Oh, what are the reasons? Oh, well, I mean, we won. What are the reasons? Nobody knows why they succeed. But everyone's got a million reasons why they failed.
Yeah.
right? So you
That's
sit down
interesting,
Charles
yeah.
Barkley and you say, hey man, how come you never win the champion? I never had a point guard. I never had this. You could, like, he would come up with a bunch of reasons why he couldn't get past that round of the playoffs, or why the Raptors couldn't get past the LeBron. What are the reasons? Well, this and that, and the defense, and this guy doesn't have heart, and that guy's not strong, and da 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 da. And the whole point is, like, it's like that's part, like, those things you butt up against. That's what you have to overcome,
Yeah.
right? And if you've
That's the hurdle, right?
that's right.
Getting you
And
to
once you
success.
hurdle it, and that's the experience, you don't know which ones you overcome were the ones that really made you the champion.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really a lot of factors that go into it.
Yes,
Like,
for
it's
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
But there's a winner's mindset, dude, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Also,
'cause
like-
it's trying everything, right? It's trying everything and fixing all of your problems, period.
Yes.
Right? It's fixing all the problems so you increase that likelihood of success. That's
Yes.
what it is. It's a numbers game, right? So,
You were gonna jump in there.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I think there's also like something with entrepreneurship is like there's kind of an iceberg effect. How like there's like there's a massive iceberg on the bottom that people don't see, and people only see the tip of the iceberg. It's the fame, the glory, and success. But like you don't see what goes into that. You don't see the failing 100 times out of the 101 you succeeded. You don't see you having panic attacks. You don't see just the grind that goes into it. You don't see like I forget, the Twitter founder said you work for 10 years so that people can think you're an overnight success. That's
I don't know if he said that. He might have said it, but it wasn't the first one to say that. That's an old
Yeah.
one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's it takes 10 years of work to be an overnight success, for sure.
Yeah.
And some people put in 10 years of work and they're never successful like Jack Dorsey is, right? That's the guy that's in charge of Twitter. I think his name is Jack Dorsey. But I mean, it's I think you guys are doing the right thing. I think you're better off. You have nothing to lose now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
The older you get, the less likely you are to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
After 30,
Exactly.
especially, man.
because like once you start having a family and kids, and there's a lot, as you're saying, a lot to lose, right?
Yeah.
If you can't pay rent and your kids are out, that's much bigger than, I have to sleep in my car, right?
Yeah,
So-
for sure, yeah. So you guys, like, you're 19.
Yeah.
You talk. He sounds like he's 37.
Yeah, honestly.
So you're working on this Verda thing,
Yep.
and it's a integrated solution for B2C, B2B, retail, wholesale,
Yep.
right? And sorry, I'm losing my mic here a little bit. There we go. What's next for you guys after this?
After this, I'm not too sure.
Keeping it going?
Like 100%. Like
Yeah.
if this does work out and we do like end up taking this to launch and then we continue with the company, this is like this is
Yeah.
one of me and Max's like we're on a path to there's 1,000 other entrepreneurial ventures. Like we come up with a lot of ideas that we're just like we can't, right?
For sure.
It's like
Yeah.
you see a problem, you got to solve it.
I see so many. I have so many things like that I'm lying in bed at night, and I'm like, so I've been an entrepreneur for never wildly successful. I have 4 kids. I have a good life, and the entrepreneurship has given me the ability to live a very, very good, interesting and good life.
Love it.
Yeah, but the work that went in for the first 12 to 15 years is now, a lot is really paying off. But it's not for everybody,
No. You have to be a special breed, I would say. Special.
There's something about it that's different.
I feel like you kind of have to be a little bit stupid to be an entrepreneur. Like you just the risk level, right? The ability or the willingness to take risk. You have to be a little bit stupid with your risk analysis on it, but
Well,
or
you know
else,
what?
or else
I
you're
don't
not
know.
throwing enough out.
I would say being an employee is more risky.
Interesting.
I'd say it's the other way around,
Okay. Why-
especially at your age. I would say choosing, son, you got to grow up, you got to go to school, and then you're going to get a job in the Ministry of the Environment where there's a good pension for you, and then you can go and do this,
Yeah.
and then
And
you'll
you
make
sound
this much
something
a
really
year.
familiar. Holy crap.
You know, it's like that's how it works. That's how mediocrity works.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah. So you get
yeah.
stuck in the
But
9 to
it-
5 every day.
Yeah, well,
all
never
day.
mind.
Safe,
Never mind.
though.
Stuck. There's nothing wrong with the 9 to 5. I did a 7 to 7 for friggin' 10 years. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Then someone's in charge of you, and they can just fire you if they want to. Like, how risky is that?
I don't think that. Well, like I feel
That's
like
hugely
like
risky. Let's
contracts
say
and stuff.
no.
and the mediocrity is generally safer, though.
Yeah, it's
right.
Well, it depends on what you mean. So let's
Okay.
say, for example, it depends because when you're not an entrepreneur, you're not in charge of what's going on around you. So I'll give you an example. You guys know, hopefully you'll never end up in this world. Hire a good employment lawyer that writes your contracts for
Yep.
you guys and all that. Okay. But so I've, as you start to, you hire people, and over the years, sometimes people come back to you and sue you as an employer.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I've been privy to different employment laws, stuff like that. So what I found out was that companies are starting to fire people in their late 40s and 50s instead of waiting for them to retire. And the reason, no, for a lot of reasons. Number one, pension. Number one, number two is salary increases. Number three is productivity losses as they age. And number four is that if they happen to fire them when they're close to 60, the government will award them a much bigger settlement in court because they're no longer employable. Right? So now the way the society is going is like you could be rolling, you could have your financial plan in place and think I'm going to work for this company till I'm 65, and some new human resource manager could come in and say, hey son, here's the strategy. We're getting rid of everybody over 45 and we're going to replace them. We're going to package them all out and they're gone. And here's why. Well, why? Well, look at your exposure if you keep these people till you're 60. And people are talking about you as if you're some commodity they trade.
Yeah.
No,
And when you're an entrepreneur, you're at the top looking down, as opposed to, and you're in control and you get to make the decisions and you get to have all the information. Whereas when you're an employee, you don't get to have all the information.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it.
Right? It's way riskier to be an
flip side,
employee,
yeah.
I think. I think it's way riskier. It's not like it was 50 years ago. Hey, I worked for GM for my whole life and they hired me and they never let me go and they kept me and the union protected me and now I have my pension. It's not like that anymore. It's way more risky to be an employee. Because you're going to end up, most people are going to end up as freelancers and stuff like that anyway. A lot of people, unless they get certain types of jobs and this sort of thing. And and all the jobs that people want, okay, so yeah, maybe if you're an AI researcher, okay? But there's not a lot of good AI researchers out there. That's why they get paid so much.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's really risky to be an employee as well.
Yeah. No,
And definitely in dying
completely agree
industries
with that,
too.
Yeah.
Especially when you're 19. Who cares? What happens to you? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Like overall,
Go back to my parents. Nothing.
Yeah, you have no risk, dude.
Yeah.
Zero in comparison to someone else. You have zero risk.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, obviously you have no assets anyone can seize if your business went bankrupt. Like, do you own a house?
What now?
They're gonna take your. They're gonna take your 2001 Honda Civic from you. Sure, buddy. You have it.
It's all yours. Like,
Sure, buddy. In fact, you're probably gonna save me money, buddy.
exactly. Cost me more than it's worth.
No.
So
You're
I mean,
right.
I totally think you guys are on the right path, man. And the mindset, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
It's huge.
mackerel, for sure. And chicks dig entrepreneurs at the end of the day.
Oh yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I think
I
it,
saw like a data thing. I don't know how I found this, but it was on Tinder, and the most.
What are
like,
you
it
doing
wasn't
on Tinder, son?
Maxi.
Okay, now I got myself into a hole. But, no, but it was
What's Tinder?
was stats on Tinder, and what it said was that entrepreneur is the best or highest liked by females for
Imagine
males.
why.
no, I would say this.
So-
I would say it's third. Professional athlete, musician, entrepreneur.
I guess it's skewed then, because there's probably not many professional athletes that
For
are
sure.
on Tinder, right? 'Cause they got their own. got their
There's
own
a special
women,
app for them.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, like premium.
No,
A fireplace
Yeah,
instead of Tinder.
but you know what the thing is? There ain't many real entrepreneurs, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
There's a
Let
lot
me
of
start
there's a
on
lot of
fake
pretenders.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretenders out there.
They just want. They want the label. They want the. I'm an entrepreneur, but like I know people who call themselves an entrepreneur and founding companies, and they're like, and I still see them out partying every 5 days out of the 7, and I'm like, you're not putting any work. You're putting in like 1 out of 7 days to it, and you're calling yourself an entrepreneur.
I'm gonna say this is probably the wrong way to say it, but I call them hip hop entrepreneurs. It's like I pretend I'm an entrepreneur
Yeah.
with the car and the peeps and the money or whatever, right? It's like you're not really it. You're not really in the game. The other thing about that too is like people love labels. Okay, they like to label themselves, whether it's negative or positive. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, or they like to, because it helps them understand who they're trying to be, right? But when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have a lot of frauds, a lot of charlatans out there.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Big time.
It's like it kind of reminds me of like you're 19 and you're going out to the bar and you're going like, who's the LB tonight, right? Do you know what that is?
LB,
No, the legitimate billionaire. So you go, you're going to pick up chicks in the bar. You're like, yeah, that guy over there with the hat and the weird glasses. Yeah, he's a legitimate billionaire, you know that? Right? And they're like, what are you talking about? No, he's kind of like, he kind of looks like Mark Zuckerberg. He's legit, man. He started this Verda company.
Man, we got to try that. Evan.
Who's the LB? Because you could switch it back and forth. Right?
Exactly. That's perfect.
No, but I hate you womanizing assholes. I have 3 daughters.
Oh, nope. Got ourselves in a hole again.
No, man, it's fun as heck, though, to be an entrepreneur as well. So I think you
fun.
guys are doing awesome. I think that's a good place to shut her down. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, that's great.
I really had fun, man.
Yeah, it was great.
It's good talking
Thanks
about
for
it.
having us.
Yeah, no
Thank
worries.
you.
What's the website, man?
www.verda.ca. Go check us out.
Verda.ca.
Yep.
Cool, man. And any social media, just go Verda on Facebook.
Verda Central on all of them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Verda Central.
Verda Central.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Look it up.
Cool. Thanks
Beauty.
for coming on the show, Max.
thank you.
Is it Max or Mackenzie?
I go by both. Kind of weird story on that, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go Max and Evan. Thanks for coming on the
Yeah.
show.
Thank you for having us.
All right, man.
Beauty.
Great.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks for listening to episode number 2. Remember, getagripstudios.com. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? You ever thought about putting out some digital media, doing some video blog, doing something professional, but you don't know how to do it? Come on, son, I could just download the podcast app on my iPhone. You know what, man? It's not that easy. And people expect, actually, you know what's interesting about podcasts now? In the old days, 10 years ago, people didn't expect that much technical savvy from a podcaster. They didn't care. They knew it was kind of cowboy up, get recorded on your iPhone and whatever. It ain't like that anymore, son. You know why? Because there's real money to be made in the podcast world. There's a revolution going on right now, and you can be involved. All you got to do is go to getagripstudios.com, check it out, and you can be up and running with our gold or silver package like that. Bam! 2 months, and you've got a massive podcast out there on social media. You'll have it on the website, all the RSS feeds, and yeah, we'll help you with everything. So recording, production, social media, distribution. We got some stuff going on, trust me. So go to getagripstudios.com. Hey, Evan and Mackenzie, you guys are badass. I wish you nothing but the best. And remember, hey man, even if you're not the Uber Eats of weed, even if you just become like the Lyft of weed, you guys are badass. So keep it rolling. Get that software platform on it. Love your aggressiveness. I love your entrepreneurial spirit. I really enjoy talking with you guys, and I wish you all the best in your endeavor. Love your courage too, man. You guys are courageous. It's what it takes in this environment. Got to be courageous and bold and daring. So go for it, boys. Love it. That's Verda. You can check them out on all the social media. These two guys are people to be contended with in the business world. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And that's episode number 2 of the Get a Grip on Life podcast. I thank you for listening. All the best.